Good morning and welcome to Photo Stories. I'm Nigel Walker, and each broadcast I will be introducing you to the work of a single photographer through a single image. Whether you can tell a lot about a photographer through one image might be debatable, but I think that if the photographer tells you the story behind that picture, it says a lot about their interest, their working methodology, and the afterlife of the picture as well. So this week I'm going to introduce you to Andrew Chandler. Andrew, I've known for some years. He's the very active secretary of Viewfinder Photographic Society in the East Riding of Yorkshire. I know that he's done a lot of travelling and a lot of travel photography. His book Zero to Zero, which records a trip that he made with his brother worldwide in 2017, is an excellent start to me thinking about his work. But it's not, of course, the only work that he does, and he works extensively in this country as well. So welcome, Andrew. Anything I should add to that?
No, that's good. That's pretty good. Thank you.
Pretty fair. Okay, then, thank you. Well, I want to ask you then to share the image with us so that we can have a chat about that.
Sure. Here we go. Can you see that all right?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Very impressive. Tell me
Thank you.
about
Um, well, it's some people might recognize it. It's the Old Man of Coniston in the Lake District, and it's an image that I took. It's got to be, yes, it's just over 10 years ago now. Thinking back,
it.
January
Wow.
2015.
Right.
And it's quite special to me. So I'd say it's certainly up there as just about my favorite image, if not certainly one of my favorite images. Um, Not just because I was pleased with the execution, with the low light that rakes across the landscape, but it's the backstory, I think, really that what it represents, or represented at the time.
It's clearly a landscape, and I know that you're very keen on landscapes. Is there a particular event or reason that introduced you to landscape photography?
Um, well, I've always been interested in the landscape. I do a lot of walking, but I would probably say that things pretty much crystallized about over 20 years ago now, when I first went to a talk by the legendary doyen of landscape photography in this country, which is Charlie Waite. He gave a talk down in Frome in Somerset, um, and I was just blown away by his images. And I think that it was probably at that time I thought to myself, I know what I want to do, or at least I know that that's a particular genre that I'd really be interested in pursuing. So since then, I've done quite a bit of landscape photography, but not obviously not just that, travel photography and wildlife photography as well, just to broaden things out a bit. But certainly that was the light bulb moment, I would say, where my interest in landscape photography started.
How long ago was that?
Well, when I saw Charlie Wade,
Yeah,
yeah, that was over 20 years ago. It
right.
was about 2002, something like that.
So it's been a continual interest of yours ever since. This particular photograph, was there I mean, did you go specifically to take this photograph at this time of year, or was it something that you saw and came across?
A bit of both, really. You'll be aware that some years ago I bought a caravan, which I've since sold, and that was to help me indulge my passion in landscape photography. And the thing that I wanted to be able to do was travel, particularly in the UK, and be able to get close to a location which I thought might have some promise in terms of landscape photography. Um, so I used the caravan to visit the Lake District. In fact, I used to go pretty much every winter for a number of years. It's a lot quieter. The air tends to be a lot clearer as well. And I could stay in campsites that were virtually empty. Though, well, some were closed, of course, but others that were open were virtually empty in the Lake District. So I decided to travel once again to Coniston, to the campsite there, park my van, and decided I'd have a few days indulging my passion in landscape photography. And as it happened, the weather forecast was for, I think I booked in for 4 nights. The weather forecast was for snow, but on my last night, so I decided I'd better extend my stay, and try and get up early, and attempt to summit the Old Man of Coniston, with all my gear, including an ice axe and some grips for my shoes as well, just hoping that I'd be lucky with the light and I'd see something that I really wanted to photograph. I took a number of images on the way up to the summit, but to be honest with you, none really particularly excited me. The snow had fallen, it was quite deep in places. But the light was getting really too harsh, for the kind of image I wanted to take. So I made my way back down, a bit deflated, exhausted, and a bit deflated, and sort of flopped in the caravan. But the thing that makes this image so special and memorable for me was that, that night in the caravan, I suffered what's known as a posterior vitreous detachment in my right eye. So there I was on my own in the caravan, freaked out by the fact that I'd got a problem with my eye, because the detachment had caused an internal bleed. So my eye started to fill up with blood. Of course, affected my vision. To cut a long story short, thanks to the NHS 111 service, they arranged an appointment for me at Barrow-in-Furness Hospital the following day, where a consultant performed laser eye surgery, to prevent the detachment of my retina. So I drove back to the campsite, which I probably shouldn't have done after I'd had the laser surgery, and it was about 3:30 in the afternoon. The sun was getting low in the sky, and that's when I caught sight of the Old Man of Coniston again from a distance, in that slightly elevated position that you can see. The sun raked across the tops of the conifers, kissing the tops of the trees and showing off the landscape, I thought, really nicely, with the winter sky and the peaks in the background, and quite a nice cloud formation. And it was at that moment I thought how lucky I was to be able to appreciate it and have my sight saved by the NHS. So anyway, I got to the caravan, picked up my gear, and returned to that same spot, because obviously I didn't take my gear with me to the hospital. Got my tripod out, set it up, and I took 6 landscape images, well, in portrait mode. I took the landscape images.
Right. Yeah. So they're stitched together.
And then subsequently stitched those images together when I got home the next day. And the image is now framed on my wall, and is a constant a reminder to me of how precious my sight is. And I suppose, in the words of Joni Mitchell, you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
That's very true. I think that's quite a good story to tell, really, because if things had gone badly, you may not have taken this photograph at all, or indeed many others.
Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have sold it since, but in some ways that doesn't matter to me. It's quite a precious image because of what it represents.
Right. Andrew, that's great. Thank you for talking to us today, telling us the story of this image. I'm going to let you go now, get on with what I know is a very busy life for you. Just remains for me to say to anyone watching that there will be other broadcasts like this, and if you are keen to catch up on stories by photographers about the work that they make, then all you need to do is subscribe to this channel, and as they pop up every week or so, you will see them. So thanks for joining us, and thank you, Andrew, for your
Pleasure.
for your input. Bye for now.